And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Welcome to another episode of New Earth TV Live. This is going to be the final New Earth TV Live episode because I'm going to be changing gears and transforming it into a brand new webcast that will be starting next week that will be featuring Zoom as well too. So we're going to be doing a lot more kind of like a gathering, right, where people can basically come on audio or video and ask questions as well too. So we're going to have a whole new theme change for this entire YouTube channel, and it's going to be referred to as Wisdom Transmissions. I'm actually creating a brand new website called wisdomtransmissions.com. It's going to be up next week, and that will be replacing New Earth Teachings. Now, you don't have anything to concern about because everything that represents past videos will still be on the YouTube channel here, but we're going to have a whole new theme called Wisdom Transmissions. I'm actually going to start moving much more into some events that'll be coming up here very soon. So some paid events with Adronis will be coming up. So we can basically call them like paid webinars or pay-per-views. Those are going to be coming very, very soon as well too. So I'm kind of stepping up the event qualities with the work that I'm doing. AETHERX is still AETHERX. YouTube channel here is still a YouTube channel, just it will be under a different name. So that will be happening next week. So we had a lot of episodes of New Earth TV Live. I had a great time doing New Earth TV Live, but we are going to be stepping up the theme, bringing a lot more support interaction together with it. So again, including Zoom in the live webcasts every Friday. So every Friday webcast will still be free. You'll still be able to connect in this way, but I am going to start doing paid webinars with Adronis as well too, as we explore some very deep themes. So that'll be very exciting. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started first with some announcements, and then we're going to be looking into Adronis transmissions. So let's go ahead and get started.
Source Energy enhanced products to repair and rejuvenate the body. From the power of light to crystals to bed kits, card decks, and more. View our free samples, tutorials, and testimonials on our website, AETHERX.co.
And of course, private sessions, distance healing sessions, 3-question private sessions by email, and full body source healing sessions are available. You can interact with Adronis through the private sessions and through the 3-question private email sessions. Now again, I'm getting quite booked up with the distance healing sessions and the full body. For distance healing sessions, I have availability starting in early February. But if you want to get immediate distance healing, I'd like you to visit my fiancée Brianne's website at trinityhomehealing.com. She is an exceptional healer. I've done training with her as well too. So she does a lot of the practices that I do, right? So she works with the Kundalini healing power. She works together with source center vibration as well too. And she also brings forward her own Reiki practice. So it's all combined. And she's already had quite a few clients, and they have had nothing but extremely positive things to say about her healing. They have woken up and a lot of injuries have cleared away, right? So she is doing extremely well. And so if you guys want immediate distance healing, and if you even want to look into some tarot readings as well too, she's very good at that as well. So you can go to trinityhomehealing.com. That is her website. Check out her beautiful website. It's very cute. It has little cartoon characters on it and everything. I think it's adorable. So again, you can check that out, and you can book a session with Brianne. Brianne does distance healing by donation. Okay, so it's donation based. You can basically pay any amount as well too. All right, so check that out. And of course, with With AETHERX, we have the promo code JAN22, all capital letters, getting 22% off of your order. This is good until the end of day of January 15th. Then again, you can see our top 3 products, which are available now. So you have the Source flashlight here, as I've demonstrated in the past. Like I said, that is our most powerful and our most potent product. Then we have the Taurus beds, which is our most densely coated product. Now the queen sizes of the Taurus bed kits are sold out, but we still have the twin, the full, and the king. We've had a major explosion of orders coming through after interviewing Janine, right? So we're just working to compensate to get more stock in as well too. And then finally we have our triple card decks, right? The body deck, the mind deck, and the energy deck. They too are also available. And if there are other updates on the source deck, not really. I've worked on it a little bit, but like I said, it's probably going to be taken to about the spring for me to get it all finished because it is such a large deck, and I'm just juggling like 5 or 6 things at the same time. So I'm doing what I can to get the 4th deck ready to go. Like I said, it will be twice the size of an ordinary deck. It's going to be gigantic. There's going to be a lot of great benefits from it, but I think we'll start having something ready by the early spring, so probably around March or April. And then being able to take it away and get it printed, so probably by late spring we'll get something going there for the new source deck that's coming, okay? And this Sunday, I'm also going to be doing an AETHERX live stream. So again, I'm going to be doing a giveaway, right? So there's going to be a brand new product that is going to be unveiled on Sunday, something very, very beneficial, right? I'm not going to say what that is yet. You guys have to tune in on Sunday for that. But it's going to be really exciting. It's been brought in, and I've received it, and I'm looking forward to revealing that on Sunday. So again, it's going to happen Sunday morning at 10 a.m. Pacific. Just go to youtube.com/@AETHERXstore and be sure to subscribe there. I'm also putting up tutorials, more tutorial videos this weekend on AETHERX as well too. So like I said, I'm juggling quite a few things in the air right now. And as much as I would love to get the source deck done, it still will take a little bit more time, but it is in progress. Okay, and basically that's about it. So again, remember that Rumble is hosting signposts every Thursday, okay? So you can check that out. I just did a Rumble episode yesterday of the signposts, and it went really, really well. So again, that's happening at 10 a.m. Pacific time every Thursday. And you can go onto the Rumble channel. It's rumble.com/signpostslive, okay? All right, so let's go ahead and get started with today. We already got some questions coming in from people, so that's excellent. We're going to get into that very shortly. First and foremost, we're going to go ahead and bring Adronis in, and he's going to be talking about a transmission pertaining to possible ET sightings throughout the year of 2024, and possibly even speaking a little bit more on the event. Okay, so I will go ahead and bring him through, and we'll get started. Here we go. Okay, here we go. Soul Star Sirius Adronis We are here. At this time, we bid you greetings, and thank you very much for the opportunity of this interaction today. I am Adronis of Sirius, sending love, appreciation, and gratitude to all who are tuning in to this broadcast through your internet collective consciousness. What we would like all of you to do at this time is simply allow yourselves to get relaxed, to get comfortable, and tune in to the vibrations of Sirius, so that you may synchronize, harmonize, and align to all of the information that we have to share. Also understand that all of the information that we shall provide today is simply that of our perspective, our point of view. For all knowledge, all information, all creation itself resides in your very heart, being, and soul. We will speak on the idea of what you term as extraterrestrial sightings to take place in your 2024 year. Well, this is basically what we have talked about between your previous solstice that has taken place and your upcoming solstice, which we have termed as an inverted solstice. Between that time, you are going to notice that the lines between physicality and the spiritual world are going to blur. It's already blurring right now. This is why we say that when you move up into the end of 2024 to when the solstice is taking place, it is literally an inversion. It is a dropping of a particular veil. And there are going to be many more of these particular forms of encounters that will be, in that sense, experienced by many of your people. Some of them, in that sense, will start to videotape this. They will start to record this. They will start to document it in their own way. And this will continue to rise as you move forward over the next couple of years. Because again, you're seeing how there is, in that sense, two worlds converging together. What you would know as your own physical world, moving much more with, shall we say, a world of an etheric nature. And that world of an etheric nature is where you're going to start seeing apparitions. You're going to start seeing beings of great complexity in regards to their own forms, that your mind really won't be able to figure it out. The idea of the technology that they are using to, in that sense, the common person, they will not be able to figure this out. You may see, again, certain usages of what you term as portals or apertures that are opening up, where you are noticing certain beings that are coming together. You may, in that sense, see other particular beings changing shape, utilizing the power of their mind and bending their own shape, manipulating matter, turning from one form into another. This, too, can be quite prominent. It's already happening right now throughout your planet, here and there. So again, there are those who have documented it, and there are those who have seen it with their own eyes, but they may have been too terrified to even document it. So when you're looking not only as the extraterrestrial presence, but also looking at, as you would say, neighbors. Neighbors that are, again, appearing on your plane, even if just for a brief time, to giving you an impression that you have never been alone. This world has been shared since the entire time that humanity has come upon this planet, and even before the times of humanity. You are not the first tenants here. There are many tenants that are, again, working together with the earth. And you have had a certain amount of time to, shall we say, share this planet with yourselves. But now that time is now starting to approach where that connection between the physical world and the world of the etheric are now going to blend with each other. And you are going to start seeing a lot more of your earthly neighbors, as we will term them. You could say that they, again, reside within certain dimensions. You could say, again, yes, there are certain forms of extraterrestrial presences that are coming upon your planet as well, too. But this is really nothing new. This is something that's been happening for a very, very, very long time. You're only now just starting to be aware of it. So 2024, does that represent an increase in these sightings? Yes, because of the blurring of the lines, because of the convergence between the physical world and the etheric world. And that is exactly what is going to take place, and that is what is exactly going to intensify as you move up into the end of the year, into that inverted solstice that we speak of, to where, again, the lines will be blurred so much that the years ahead will become quite more prominent relating to neighbors that you are going to encounter. Well, Adronis, why is it the time right now that they have decided to show themselves? Because of the appropriate energetics to do so. They could not do that in what you term as your past because the earth was not ripe enough to do that. You have to look at it in the idea of fruit, that you have all of these green bananas around you, but you're not really going to want to eat them. You want to wait until they're ripe. And so basically those green bananas now start to turn yellow. And now they are right to eat. So again, that's basically an analogy that we can use in regards to your earth. That she was still going through the green banana stage, and now she's about to enter the yellow banana stage, where you're now going to start noticing your neighbors. You're going to start noticing these particular beings that are going to be sharing the earth with you in the times ahead. Where again, there will be a little bit more of a revealing, and then a little bit more, and then a little bit more, and then larger capacity, and an extensive capacity. Where it will no longer be such a mystery within your years ahead that you're actually sharing the planet with other beings. Now, they are not looking to have any particular type of delegation with you at this time. That will come at a later time. They are just introducing themselves to the modern public bit by bit in small groupings at first. And then it will start to move out further into a larger capacity. As it moves out into a larger capacity, there will be the opportunity for delegations and dialogues and communication with many of these neighbors of yours. and in time, in that way, as we have always said, that you will be inviting in first contact. Now, again, that's still a ways down the road, but you're going to be inviting it in because you're going to be aware that there have been other civilizations living on this earth for a very long time, far before mankind has shown up. Mankind is really what you would understand as the newest tenants on the planet right now. In a way, you could say that you are the new kids on the block, relating to you appearing on this planet, because you're, in that sense, the freshest species to come here. Everything else here on your planet is here way before you were. So basically, you could say that humanity is the newest addition to Earth, because you are the youngest species out of any other species that is here. You're the youngest. So again, this is why you're still in an adolescent stage, because you're a young species and you're still developing yourselves. You are barely, in that sense, over the 150,000 years pertaining to age. That is like looking at a toddler compared to many of these particular forms of beings that are well over millions, if not billions, of years old. And humanity very much is a toddler in comparison. And so you're going to notice that a lot of these neighbors who have been here for many millions of years, they are willing to share the earth with you. But they have to let an idea, an opportunity for maturity to sink in first. Humanity needs to get their act together, and you are going to start getting your act together within the next several years, because this is leading into the event. Now, we have talked about the nature of the event before, that this represents the idea of a universal sized event. This is not something that is just local to your own earth. Everything pertaining to what you are experiencing that shifts your culture, shifts your civilization, is not only impacting you, but those ripple effects are now starting to shine throughout the entire cosmos. And there will be an event that is not only going to affect you, but it is going to affect the entire universe, whether you are on this planet or not. Even when you're in spirit, you're going to feel it. It's going to affect you. Those of you who have transitioned and are now in those astral planes, wherever they may be, are going to feel the event as well. It's unavoidable. The entire universe is going to feel the event. That's what this entails. This is not just a local, planetary, Earth-sized phenomena. No. It will impact the Earth, but it's going to impact the entire universe. Have you not noticed that throughout the past several years, where astronomers themselves, both amateur and professional, have noticed that the planets, even within your own star systems, are changing? That their patterns are changing, that their climate is changing, that heat is starting to rise from within the planets. Well, if you actually take a large telescope and you start aiming it at other planets beyond your star system, they're doing the same thing. The entire galaxy, specifically around the outer rim, with planets that inhabit the outer rim territory of your galaxy, are basically heating up. Why? Because of the galactic center. The galactic center is expanding. And it's not just in this galaxy, but it's in other galaxies as well too. Because you have to look at the galaxy as cells. And every particular cell is now going through a transmogrification situation. Or basically, in that sense, you could say a metamorphosis. There is a greater amount of light coming into every single galaxy that exists through a central source that is not visible to your naked eye. And it is, in that sense, a great expansion. It's an expansion that is happening magnetically. And every single galaxy that, again, resides within this universe is taking a toll from it. So it's not just the Earth. And at some particular point, this magnetic expansion is going to culminate to a point that will trigger an event. Now, this event will be different for all of you. This is why we say we really can't tell you exactly what the details of this event are, because you're all going to experience it differently. Adronis, does this represent an ascension of some sort? You could say to a certain degree, It does, but again, it's all based upon how you are, where you're at, what you're experiencing, your mentality at the time that it takes place. If you are learning to be in sync, not only with the planet, but with the entire universe, you could move yourself into profound states of being through the event. But again, if you are still very much caught up in your own affairs, caught up in your own ideals, that is causing you great distraction, causing you great suffering, then that will basically just be a cascade of those particular feelings. Adronis, can you give an idea about when this event is going to happen? No. Now we're just giving you the idea that there are going to be sequences of events that are going to lead into the event itself. What we will say is that you don't have long to wait. All right? It will be taking place here within the next several years. That's the closest approximation that we can give you pertaining to the event. All right. Now it's called the event because this is what your world is quite commonly referring to it as. But we would refer to it quite more commonly as a universal harmonic shift. We would call it more of the shift rather than the event. But many of you have gotten used to that term as the event, and so you can call it that. But it is a universal harmonic shift. It is a growth spurt of the entire universe. And you have now reached that particular time. Those of you who have incarnated here at a very specific time. Even for those of you who have been here recently, because we're talking to the ones who have also transitioned beyond this physical plane. Believe us when we say that they can hear us when we're talking. And we say to them that they too have chosen a very special time to where they had their lifetime on Earth, and now they are much more in observation. It's going to impact them too. This is going to impact your physical world. This is going to impact your astral world. This is going to meld them together. This is going to merge them together. It's like we stated, with the idea of the inverted solstice that's coming up here at the end of the year is a trigger point, is a milestone towards the event. That's what's happening. And this is going to continue to intensify every single year, up until the point to where the event itself happens within the next several years. So we're not giving you a date. We're just giving you an approximation of something to look forward to, because as we stated, you will know when this event is going to come. For those of you who are in tune, you will know this. Adronis is at 2038. We really can't tell you. 2038 certainly represents a very strong significator, but we can't tell you if it's 2038 or not. All we can tell you is that it's within the next several years. You don't have long to wait. So those of you in that sense who are here, who again know that you will be around for the next several years, whether you are in the body or not, you'll feel it. We can guarantee you that. Doesn't matter if you've left the body. Doesn't matter if your body is now in the earth. Doesn't matter if your body's been cremated. And now you are in the astral plane working together with family. They will feel it too. You can't escape it. So that is exactly what's taking place right now. Through the physical planes, through the psychic planes, through the astral planes, through the higher astral planes, through the heavenly planes, through the planes of light, through divine planes, etc. All planes will feel the event. It's inevitable. So we want you just to be aware of this. And if you basically have ever wanted to know when the time to get your affairs together should be, it should be now. It should be taking place at this time. Because what the event is going to do is it's going to take everything that represents through you what you consider life to be and bring it to you. And that's something you need to be aware of. You are basically going to create your own outcome. And that's why we say it's very important you get your affairs together right now. You don't have long to get them together. All right? We thank you very much for this interaction. We will now pause at this time and allow a question and answer period to begin as we now return to the conduit. One moment, please. Okay, well, we got a lot of stuff to look forward to in the next several years. It's very exciting. All right. Okay, guys, we're going to go ahead and get started with some Q&A. Okay, we're going to get into distance healing at the very end. Okay, so if any of you do have healing requests, I'm going to be doing 3 people today for healing requests. Okay, so we'll get to that very, very shortly. We're going to take this time now for a question and answer period. Okay, so if you do have any questions for myself or for Adronis or for the tarot, just let me know, all right, and we'll get through your questions all together. And if you want to be ahead of the line, just feel free to put a YouTube super chat donation in there, and that will put you in priority sequence, either for a question or for a healing. Okay, so let's go ahead and start off at the very top of the chat, and I'm just going to work my way down. Again, all I'm looking for right now is just questions, not healing just yet. Okay. All right. So Carol Ann asks, hi Brad, I was wondering if we could start doing earth meditations again. That's going to be happening again next week when we start getting into wisdom transmissions. I basically want to have time today, mostly just for Q&A and for distance healing. Next week, we'll certainly get into another healing meditation as we start off with the wisdom transmissions gathering. Okay, so that's basically what's going to be happening on Fridays. Like I said, I'm going to be opening up a Zoom room for everybody, so you guys will be able to access the Zoom room, and then I'll be able to simulcast the Zoom room here onto my software, so that'll be broadcasting on YouTube, right? So you don't have to be part of the Zoom room, but again, if you want to have more personable questions, then that's something that will be available through Wisdom Transmissions, the very first episode that will take place next Friday, okay? And we will certainly start off with a guided meditation, okay? It could be earth-based, or it could just be something for humanity. Just depends in regards to how things feel on that day, okay? So again, thank you for the question. All right, let's go down a bit more. Okay, here's a question from EP. EP says, will the unification of Korea be a major tipping point for the positive outcome? All right, so let's take a look at that. With the unification of both North and South Korea together. Again, if you kind of look at it much more in regards to the energetic, that when 2 separate entities decide to come together to form one, that is always a benefit. Okay. So let's take a look and see what the cards say about that. About the unification of Korea be a major tipping point for the positive outcome. Okay, let's take a look. I try to keep up with everything that's happening. There's just so much. It's almost impossible to do it. Okay, so we're just going to take a look here at a 4-card reading here. It's going to be difficult at first, okay, but over time it's going to be something better. Okay, it's just going to be something that's not going to be used to. Like, there's a lot of talks. I'm going to get to Korea here in a second, but there's a lot of talk about Canada, the United States, and Mexico coming together, right, to basically create a North American Union. There's also the talk about the idea of North America and South America coming together to basically create the America Union, right? And there's been discussions about that. We really don't know when that's happening. But even when you present that idea to people, guess what the first reaction is? Fear, right? Fear, apprehension, anxiety. I don't want to partner with them. I don't want those countries a part of us, right? And that's kind of the first reaction you're going to get pertaining to Korea. There's going to be fights. There's going to be disagreements. They're the whole idea in that sense that they have to get used to kind of dipping their feet in the water to get used to the temperature, right? So there's going to be a little bit of a scuffle at first, but overall, this brings about a very hopeful, positive experience, okay? With the idea of the unification on the Korea, it's going to be a little bit rough at first, okay? There's going to be some unrest relating to it, okay? So people are still just trying to get their bearings together. They have to kind of get used to that unification. They say, well, there's certain things that North Korea does that we don't want, or there's certain things that South Korea does that we don't want, and differences need to be settled, right? So there's going to be some grumpiness, right? There's going to be some confinement. There's going to be some argumentative nature here. There's also needs to be some cleanup that needs to take place, because these walls have been causing separation with them for quite some time. There also probably needs to be some settlements pertaining to finances as well too at the same time. So there's got to be a lot of legal stuff that needs to be taken care of. There needs to be some sociological stuff that needs to be taken care of. There needs to be some political stuff that needs to be taken care of. And that's ironing out all of the creases that both North and South Korea have for each other. But in the long run, that's what's going to happen. Okay? With time comes the idea of settlement. With time comes the idea of unification. Okay? And this is going to be a situation that is going to unfold where peace is going to be established to what was originally a very chaotic and conflicting situation. Okay, so we have two, so that represents unity, bringing things together to where there has been strife. Okay, so in the long run, it certainly represents a benefit, but there's going to be an ironing out of details that need to take place first before that time will show itself, but it will show itself. Okay, very good question. Thank you very much for that, EP. So here's another one here from Peter. Peter says, "Hi Brad and Adronis. In Amsterdam, there are 3 times a day loud, low-altitude planes that drop nasty stuff, making us sick and ill. What is it, and when will it stop?" Okay, so dropping nasty stuff. So I don't think we're talking about chemtrails here. We may be talking about something else pertaining to that. I don't know if we can say what it is pertaining to the cards. We can basically say what it represents, right? In Amsterdam. So we can take a look at the cards to get an idea about what's going on. Right? The cards really won't tell me too much about what it specifically is. Okay? But we can take a look and see what's going on here. Low altitude planes that are dropping nasty stuff off, making us sick and ill. Okay? So let's take a look at that and see what's going on. Okay, so with the nasty stuff that's being dropped off through low altitude planes, what I'm getting is this, that this may be leading into something new, this may be leading into something that is a benchmark of a grand change, but if we're seeing something in regards to low altitude planes dropping off, it almost feels like it's crop dusting in a certain way, right? So it basically lets you know that Netherlands is about to go through a big significant change, but you're still kind of being on alert because a lot of the shadow forces that have still occupied Amsterdam may be doing this, okay? And basically I'd say the best way to do it right now is just to avoid those particular areas where there's dumping, right? But the past feels like there's been a big shift in the Netherlands. It feels like there's a shifting of power that's taking place, and this is kind of what I'm seeing here in the present time. It feels like maybe leadership is changing, right? Some things are changing together, and that this is some sort of desperation attempt of trying to, again, be a sore loser. I don't know if it's being a sore loser, but just the idea of them trying to create chaos to try and establish some type of emergency situation, right? So it feels like it's a psyop that they're trying to do, okay? But from what I'm getting, it doesn't look like this is going to succeed at all. Okay, so whatever is happening pertaining to the dumping of particular chemicals or whatever it may be in that sense, it just reminds me of kind of like those old crop dusting planes where they'd fly in low altitude and they'd drop stuff off to basically spray these crops. That's kind of the vision I'm getting here in that way. But I feel like because there's been something that has made them incredibly sour, because I feel like the leadership has taken a change of position. Okay, so there may represent the idea perhaps of a new financial system that's about to come up, or again, new change in government, and that the old pertaining to the corrupt is about to be laid to rest. So I think it's the finishing off of a war that's taking place in the Netherlands, and that they are using this last-ditch effort perhaps to create some form of state of emergency to try and grab some particular state of control back to themselves, right? But I don't think it's going to fly. So I can't tell you exactly what those chemicals are. I know they're not good, right? But to me, it just feels like it's nasty chemicals that can basically affect the lungs, the respiratory system, and it may be spraying in the ground as well too. So I would need to look at a little bit more videos of this because I haven't quite heard of this altogether. At first I thought you were talking about chemtrails, but this feels like something else. Again, no more different than crop dusting in that particular way. So I'll have to look into that a little bit further. But what I'm seeing is that this is some sort of last-ditch effort of them trying to bring about some type of emergency situation so that they can regain their powers again, right? Because it feels like they're losing their powers altogether. Okay, thank you for your question. Okay, going down the list here a bit more. Okay. So Matthias, I know you have a question here about the North Sentinel Island tribe. I'm not personally familiar with that territory. Okay, so this is probably have to be something that'll be asked a little bit more. I need to have a little bit more familiarity with the North Sentinel Island tribe before I can really give any information on that, right? So maybe that's a question for the future. I'll see if I can look up the North Sentinel Island tribe so that it's good translation for Adronis to come through and elaborate on it, because right, I have no idea in regards to what that tribe is. Okay, so we'll have to look at that at a later time. Okay. Okay, so Ashley has a question here. Can we talk about the star Maya and Merope and what type of beings inhabit there? Well, let's kind of keep it to one single star at a time because that's going to be a very sophisticated answer. Let's take a look at the star of Maya, okay? And the star of Maya representing the Pleiades, okay? And taking a look at that particular star. So the best person to connect with that would be Adronis. Maya is something that he has talked about in the past as well too. So we can take a look at the Maya star and what type of beings inhabit there. Okay, one moment. We thank you very much for your question pertaining to the Maya star within the Pleiades star cluster. Understand that, in a way, this is what represents a particular, shall we say, location that will serve humanity in many thousands of years. Saying that in that sense surely represents the idea of not looking at this in regards to a state of chronology, but understand that much of Maya pertaining to its fertile worlds contain human life. All right? And they look very much like you. In fact, much of the multicultural presence here on the Earth would be very, very similar to what you would find on those Earth-like worlds, but of a much more higher divine level. All right? They do not operate at all in regards to how your Earth operates. They work together with what you would know as an abundant source of spiritual energy. They work on a much more higher level. Now, basically in that sense, looking at the nature of a divine hierarchy. What does that mean? Because we're not used to hearing that pertaining to the idea of kingdoms. Don't kingdoms signify the idea of corrupt rule? No, they don't. See, that's again what's been completely indoctrinated into your society, is thinking that if there is a kingdom and there is a ruler, well, there must be something corrupt because that's what you've been going through for many thousands of years. But that's not the case. There are kingdoms, they are hierarchies, there are monarchies that do reside upon these worlds that serve the people first. They are what you would know as grand servants, grand facilitators that will work together with the people. It is a monarchy that aims for the highest, best good. And that is what represents the central prime location in what you would term as the second world of the Maya star. To where if we were to give this particular civilization that has this monarchy a name, it would simply be referred to as Chi. C apostrophe H-E-E, the Chi. And they represent a particular monarchy that we speak about. There is no one turned away. There is no poverty. Because you would understand that the land itself represents a kingdom. The kingdom does not have a poor section. It does not have a land that is in that sense impoverished. In fact, there is no such thing. But there is a central hub to this particular kingdom, to where there is indeed a king and a queen and a royal family. And the reason why there is a king and a queen and a royal family is because of the divine nature into how they are born. This is therefore facilitated through higher divine consciousness. No more different than what you would term as an avatar on your planet. One in that sense from the divine planes to which they incarnate. And they are the ones that are bestowed kingship. And they do not care about conquest. They do not care about finances because there is none. They don't care about the idea of acquisition of land because there's none of that either. They are in the central hub to serve humankind. And that's their monarchy. They are humbled between every single being that comes to see them. Adronis, this is unlike anything that we have ever heard pertaining to a kingdom before. Exactly. Does that mean in that sense that on your planet you will not discover kingdoms? This is incorrect. You certainly will. And at some particular point, Earth will therefore be formed in this way, where there will be a divine monarchy, because you will discover the ones that have come upon this planet that have that divine connection with them, where they are the living incarnation of God. And that is very much the type of monarchy that you will find throughout the Chi, connected throughout this particular land, contained on the second world of the Maya star. All right, so that's why we want to give you a little bit more detail pertaining to them, because we do interact with them here and there. There are other worlds in that sense that do reside within the Maya star, but their outline in regards to how they function is a lot more different than your own solar system. You see, your solar system is much more aligned in regards to a farm or a garden. The idea of the world of Maya is a little bit different, which means their orbits are somewhat different. Their orbits operate much more in a divine procession. We would ask you to imagine the following: what you would term as a hyperboloid, where the central star is here. Above the central star in a smaller orbit is one planet. Above that is a second planet. Above that is a third planet. Above that is a fourth planet. Above that is a fifth. Going down the opposite side, another first planet, another second planet, another third planet, another fourth planet, another fifth planet. That's how it's oriented. It is not oriented at all in the way that your star system is oriented. This star system is much more oriented to the hyperboloid, which gives it in that sense a very different procession of the evolution of worlds. And you will discover this as you start to become a spacefaring civilization. You will see how certain solar systems are oriented differently. There are some that are oriented similar to yours, but there are others that are configured in much more geometrical ways that represent a differentiation of precession pertaining to how the planets orbit and pertaining to how that star orbits around accompanying stars. It is a very, very different type of science. And it all works together with the nature pertaining to harmonics, just as your own star system is. But it is oriented in a certain way that represents learning, growth, and evolution. Maya is operated very, very differently. It is representing a procession for divine growth, for divine advancement. Whereas your star system is more about living growth and living advancement. That's the difference. All right? So that's what we can tell you a little bit in regards to the Maya star at this time. We thank you very much. Okay, well, that's very interesting. Always learning something very, very new and very interesting from Adronis every single time he comes on. So that's great. I was not aware of that. He never talked about Maya in that way. He has talked about human civilizations living on Maya. He has talked about them being of a very, very different orientation to how we live, that there are monarchies present, but it is very much more of a divine monarchy. Right? It's something that we're still not even close to being aware of because we're still used to being screwed around. But on other planets, it doesn't work that way. There are quite a few monarchies on other planets, but they do not work in the least in regards to how we work here, right? We do not have they do not have corrupt kings, they do not have corrupt queens, they don't have corrupt emperors or empresses. It's nothing like that. They are completely in service to their people. There's no poverty, there's no war, there's no fun. You just wouldn't be able to believe it until you're actually there and you see it for yourself. Right? So we can talk about it and say, oh, come on, there's no such thing. No way, no monarchy could ever be fair to its people. Other planets it is. And you'd have to be there to see it for yourself, right? And basically just being the messenger to tell you this to you guys, right? There's a lot more going on other worlds that we can basically take from that and help to advance our civilization when we get to that particular point. Okay. All right, so I think I lost my place online, so I'm just going to kind of scroll down the list here. We're going to probably take about 15 to 20 minutes worth of more questions, and then we're going to get into healing, okay? Let's see. Okay, I think I've found my spot again. Okay, so Mona here asks, hi Brad, Energy Enhancement System EES centers with scalar toroidal healing technology have opened worldwide. Could you ask the cards if there are harmful energies programmed into these? There was a fast rollout. Okay, so Energy Enhancement Systems centers with scalar toroidal healing technology. Okay, we'll just ask if this is a beneficial technology. Okay, we'll just ask about that. That just keeps it a little bit more simple. Okay, so for EES, with their toroidal, the scalar toroidal technology, is this a beneficial technology that is rolling out? Okay. If it is, that's great. I'd love to see more of that coming up. I'd like to see how big their rollout is, right? Because again, there's a lot of grass pertaining to the pharmaceutical companies, okay? The idea of a worldwide rollout, you have to be careful with that because, like I said, as long as pharmaceuticals go around, a worldwide rollout would still represent that of an alternative therapy. Okay, so just be aware of that. Pharmaceutical companies have to go before it is truly a worldwide rollout of something like this. But let's take a look at that. Okay, well, I'm pretty much getting all good things from this technology. I'm not getting anything bad at all. Okay, so what I'm seeing here is that this is a young company with a young idea. Okay, and they still need to kind of grow a little bit more. Okay, but it's true. I would say that there is something where they're expanding. Right, I can't say exactly if they're not turning into a McDonald's or anything of that nature, but it may represent the idea that they are going to start expanding themselves, and that's great. That's a very good thing to see. I'm feeling that maybe they're European, if they're European in nature, okay? If we have something like that in Canada and the US, right, then there could be trouble with that. But I'm not really seeing any particular trouble here, right? This is the past, so it feels like they've spent some time really trying to perfect this technology. Maybe it's based on Nikola Tesla's findings as well, too. Scalar technology has been out for a very, very long time, right? Nikola Tesla was really one of the pioneers for scalar technology. This is going to bring about tremendous benefit for people. So Mona, what I would ask you to do, people are going to ask, Mona, where's their website? Okay. So Mona, if you could do a favor and just post the website up on the chat, right? And if I see it, I'll let people know what the website is, okay? Because this actually looks very, very promising, okay? There's still some secrecy here, okay? So there's the High Priestess. So they may represent some secrecy. Maybe they're not being 100% transparent in regards to what their technology is doing. Maybe that will come in time. But it feels like there's still a little bit of transparency here. It's not a bad thing, but they may start talking a little bit more about the deeper understandings of their technology as they get bigger. Okay, but this is really good. This is showing some, again, immense amount of promise. Okay, and it feels like this is generally going to help people significantly. Okay, so it's kind of a give and take. There will be fees, of course, for it, but it shows like this is something in the right direction. Okay, so Mona, if you can put that website up of theirs regarding the Energy Enhancement System Centers. Okay, hopefully they have a website, people can check this out, but the idea behind them certainly feels promising. Okay, and that's great to see that people are working together with scalar. Like basically AETHERX, guys, is scalar as well too. When you look at AETHERX, everything we do, from the torus beds, from the source flashlight, they all work with scalar, because all scalar is life force energy, right? Life force energy that in that sense is being controlled through a technology that is basically radiating, that is perturbating through a technology, and that you need to configure it a certain way so that, again, you're working with a source frequency, right? Just like AETHERX does. So we do that as well too. But I'm saying we're available to the world, but we basically have one primary location here in Canada. Okay, so let's see if we can get our website with that and check it out. Okay, so Mona, if you're still there, feel free to leave a website behind regarding that. Okay, all right. Cody basically just has a comment here. Cody says, when it is said to get your affairs in order, my take on that is that we are taking responsibility for our thoughts. Yes, and what you're doing is you're learning to live a lot more peacefully with yourself, right? You're seeing the world in a peaceful nature, right? Because if we're, again, throwing all kinds of conflicting thoughts, or this person messed with me, or I don't like this person, I hate what they're doing, and I want to war with other people, well, then that particular sensation is going to get amplified. Okay, so this is basically what the nature of the event is talking about. This is something that is universal. This is a magnetic shift that Adronis was talking about, and it basically takes your own perception of life and it transmutes it into how your life will prominently be. And a lot of people have been talking about this for many years, right? About the idea in that sense that when this shift comes, you're going to be operating on a planet that is much more based in regards to your own subconscious, about what is contained there, right? To the next level. It's going to become a lot more vivid, right? So that's kind of like the stepping up of this dimension of the Earth, right? It's going to be interesting. Very interesting indeed. Okay. So, like I said, guys, we're going to get to healing here very shortly. Okay, here's one from Jan. Jan says, can Adronis talk about where the people of Lemuria and Atlantis are nowadays? Thank you. Okay, interesting. It's kind of a broad question, but we'll see what we can do here. Okay, one moment. We thank you very much, Jan, for your question. Well, in regards to where many souls, as it is termed, to where they once resided in Atlantis and Lemuria, or Mu in that sense, are, look around you. Look around you, and that's the answer. Because you will find many of them on the planet today. In fact, many of you whom we speak of have had a lot of different forms of perspectives of Atlantis, perspectives of the land of Mu, perspectives of Lemuria. Lemuria is not what you would term as the large continent that is contained in the Pacific. It is a smaller island that is contained in the Indian Ocean. All right. Now, it certainly was a Mu colony, but again, it's a different land. So, you would look at three prominent forms of lands that represent this conversation. Number one, Atlantis in the Atlantic. Number two, the land of Mu in the Pacific. Number three, Lemuria within the Indian Ocean. All right, so those are the three prominent lands that again would be pertaining to this discussion. Now, two of those three particular lands involving Mu and involving Lemuria were much more indigenous based. Atlantis started off that way, but then started to move much more into the technological because of what you would say is off-world interference. Off-world interference coming together to encourage much more technological components, technological grasps pertaining to the indigenous people of that time, to where Atlantis now started to become more technological because it was bestowed upon them by the gods, as it were, and turned them into much more of a technocratic society, to where more divisions around Atlantis took place over time, where they were warring with other nations and they were even warring with their own divisions of themselves. You see? And many of those who were warlike would actually participate a lot more in your human wars nowadays. Right? Soldiers, for example. Soldiers of Atlantis who died on the battlefield would often reincarnate here and being involved with the First World War, the Second World War, the Gulf War, Afghanistan, Iraq, etc. Those are again manifestations of what you would know as Atlantean soldiers, quite commonly. All right? And again, what you would know as your higher authorities in that way, looking at your monarchs, looking at your kings, looking at your queens, looking at certain presidents and prime ministers. A lot of them represented priesthoods, even monarchies, that represented the times of Atlantis, Lemuria, Mu. So do you see how they're all part, again, in your modern age? Some of them have left the planet. Many of them are still here, working out their differences, Because the war is not always so outward, it is inward. And it is being able to look at yourself, because as we stated, where you are right now on the earth, it's turning into that ripe fruit, where you are being a lot more conscientious of your actions. You are being a lot more conscientious of your feelings to helping you move into a greater height. That's the idea. So when you're looking at Atlantis, when you're looking at Mu, when you're looking at Lemuria, many of you who were there are back again. All right? Thank you very much. Okay, very good. Thank you very much for your question, Jan. All right, how are we on time? Okay, we probably got another 5 minutes, and we're going to get into some healing. We are going to do a group healing today as well, too. So Maria, because it's almost like a follow-up in regards to what Cody was saying. Maria says, Adronis, when you say we could get our affairs in order, what do you mean? Can you give an example? So besides Adronis, this is again just what I communicated with Cody about earlier. Okay, when you're getting your affairs in order, like I said, it's all about moving towards peace. It's about moving into harmony. It's about moving into a simpatico connection with the earth. Now, if your affairs are all about fighting with other people, if your affairs are all about trying to blame others because you don't feel like you're secure and it's the whole world's fault, if you're feeling that you're just wanting to point your fingers at government and you want to point your fingers at leaders and you want to, again, fight with family, you want to fight with friends, and you're barely making ends meet and you're complaining about how little money that you have and you're worried about other people of what they're doing in life, right? Everything that basically consists of worry, of anxiety, of fear, of anger, of sadness, of conflict, of duality, of polarity. Okay? Now, nobody's going to tell you not to go there, because this is exactly what you're doing based on your own willpower to do. Okay? But you are going to basically encompass a world that is going to be much more intense when that shift comes. Okay? Because that's going to be your prominent energy. And you're going to look at more people messing about with you. You're going to work with more people who are trying to swindle you in that way. Okay? So this is the whole idea, is that we're all basically shifting to our own earth, right? Even Bashar has talked a lot about the idea of the splitting of the prism, right? And that's basically what's happening. Adronis has talked about the nature of the splitting of worlds. And it's not just relating to a fourth density earth, okay? It's relating to this earth as well, too. Is that you are going to find yourself ending up to a particular fractal of an earth based upon how you prominently see life, okay? So if you prominently see life as something where you're just cringing and you're just feeding off the scraps and you're just scraping the bottom of the barrel and you are completely conflicted and you're fighting with everybody and you're blaming everybody and you're hurt, you're going to intensify that. That's going to be your life. Nobody can bail you out of that. This is your own responsibility. So if you are familiar with my channel and you are aware that if you go to my playlists, you will find quite a few different free practices that you can do. BCR technique, okay, it's a big one, it's 30 days. Okay, there's cord removal healing, that one's 10 days. Okay, there's prana transmission technique. There is the release ball method. Okay, there's the abidance method. One of my videos also talks about the process to ending all suffering. That's the abidance method. Okay, you have several different techniques there. And as you start working towards healing yourself, because what are you doing? I'm bringing peace to all of these situations. I'm harmonizing myself. I'm going within, I'm looking at all of these things, and I'm asking myself, can I let this go? I'm asking myself, can I lighten this up? And even if I can't, all I'm doing is I'm following my breath work, right? I'm following heart rate variability, right? Breathing in for 4 seconds, breathing out for 6 seconds to get me into what? To get me into a subtle, low idle state, what I refer to as the dilated state, okay? And you know that you're going into low idle state when your eyes are dilated, okay? So you take a mirror with you. As you start doing this breath work, you start clearing yourself, you start feeling more relaxed, you look in a mirror, okay? And you check to see if your eyes are dilated, okay? If they're about 50% or more dilated, then you're getting there, Okay, you want to basically try and get them into as deep a dilation as possible. Relax yourself a little bit more. Okay, when you're getting yourself into that dilated state of being, you're now entering a state of pure calmness. As you're in that state of pure calmness, this is you getting high. This is you moving up your vibration. Your vibration's getting a lot higher, which means you're a lot more receptive to your feelings and to your emotions and to your qualms and to your conflicts. And you're looking at every single one of them and you're just shrinking them down by breathing into them and by Om chanting into them, right? Om. And they're shrinking down. They're shrinking down more. They're shrinking down more. And they're shrinking down more. To the point where I say, can I now completely let this go? Yes. And you let it go. So, for those of you who have been watching my channel for quite some time, you already know what I'm talking about. Okay, this is nothing new. For those of you who are new to my channel, who are fresh and are here, welcome. And that is where I suggest that you start. You go onto my playlists and take a look at any of these particular healing techniques. All of them will get you there. Okay, it's just a matter of preference, right? BCR technique, for example, is a longer course, right? And it does work together with visualization. It works with breath work. It works to getting you into calmness, and it's reinforcing all of that goodness inside of you to purge everything that represents conflict. Okay, that's BCR, breath work, calmness, reinforcement. Okay, then there's cord removal, right? We're working with a particular breathing technique, and then we're working to basically shrink those cords down. We're reinforcing love in that way. We can also just Om chant directly into those cords until they are loosened, and then we cut them. We give them off to spirit. We bring a new cord in. We plug it into ourselves. We Om chant into that. We make it stronger until it's as strong as a steel cable. This is a visualization technique, right? And that's one way of clearing away all your problems. But you need to devote, okay? You need to devote and commit yourself and dedicate yourself into making yourself well, because a lot of you don't. A lot of you do not. And that's the problem, okay? This is not about the idea where I'm going to take a pill and then everything's better. No. Never going to work, never will work. Okay? This is not about the idea of saying, I'll just go to some guru, I'll just go to some master and they can just take away all my problems. No, not going to work, because they won't do that. Anyone who is actually an intelligent guru would never do that for you. Okay? So what I do when I start doing this healing is I'm helping you to brush away a lot of stuff that's on the surface and beyond the surface, so that more of the core of yourself can be revealed, so that you can see exactly where the problems lie. And now you go in and you start clearing them out, right? You don't have to do any particular forms of heavy dialoguing, right? Like I said, with prana transmission technique, put the problem right here. Doesn't matter what it is, physical ailment. Guys, I don't even care if you have PTSD, okay? PTSD can be healed. Brad, how does that work? You look at the parts of PTSD that are bearable, and you put them right here, and you Om chant. Om, Om, Om. Check in. Is that still here? A little bit, okay. Om, Om, Om. Check in. Is that still here? It's only a little bit left, okay. Om, Om, Om. Check in. Is that still there? Nope. Completely gone. There's a part, there's a component that I have now completely scratched off my PTSD. I work with the things that are bearable. I can look at the things that I can stand. If it's something that's just too bearable and I can't look at it yet, okay, that's too much of you to bite off at one time. We start off small. So we look at the idea of grouping these traumas, and we clear them, and we clear them, and we clear them, and we clear them, and we clear them. And before you know it, the entire PTSD situation has been harmonized, which means even though this has happened, I can't change what's happened, but I can change how I perceive that event, right? And that's what you're doing. So you're not dwelling on something pertaining to something that has given you so much fear. You're willing to be at peace with what has happened. You have now come into the state of accepting what has taken place within your life, and you're able to harmonize it. You see what I'm saying? And the road to this really is simplicity. The challenge you have is the ability for you to do the work, because that's what most people have the most problem with. They don't like to take responsibility and put it in their own hands and do it themselves. Now, guys, with all due respect, that is a slavery mentality. Okay? And actually, that's something that can be found in your own genetics. Okay? It is actually a genetic shackle that many of us are unable to overcome because we have been genetically altered to feel like we need dependency, that we need to bow to a type of higher authority. And you need to learn to break that. You need to learn to break that altogether. And all that is just bringing it up and saying, okay, here's a higher authority, I have to bow to them. Right? If my parents are a higher authority, I have to break that ability to bow to them. If I see that a prime minister is a higher authority, I need to break that shackle to feel like I need to bow to them. If the government is a higher authority, I need to break that shackle to feel like I need to silently obey them. Okay? It's not about saying that you're just going to shrug them off and have nothing to do with them. It's the idea that your ability to feel like you are dependent upon that entity, whatever it may be, has now been broken. Right? You've broken off the shackles. You may still communicate with those people, but you're seeing them on equal footing. You're seeing them on equal ground. Right? Your authenticity is taking over. And this is what's happened to a majority of people on the planet. Majority of the people on the planet basically have a slave gene active inside themselves, because it cannot be brought something in regards to an energetic. The closest thing to an energetic is a gene. And this is exactly what happened to the human race many, many thousands of years ago. Genetics have been tweaked so that there basically is a type of slave gene in there. It's kind of like a gene of suggestion, right? It's a gene of particular forms of cerebral suggestion. Okay, it's subliminal. And there is a way to turn that off. And the way to turn that off is exactly what I'm describing here through these techniques. Right? Is being able to soften, is being able to lighten up, and being able to completely remedy the problem itself. So now the problem becomes peaceful. Right? Now you're at peace with all of these things. You're no longer bowing to the idea of an outside authority because of a gene that was put into you. A subconscious, subliminal, cerebral, genetic. And about half the population has this. Maybe even more. Okay? So it is a specific gene that basically represents that nature to be suggestive, to be reasonable. It's a trance gene, you could say. Okay? Now, I'm not a genealogist. I don't know the entire genealogy or the nature of the genome of the human body, but this is basically what I've received as well too. And I've seen it so much over the years, is people will just bow. They will bow to a higher authority. They will depend so much on anybody. Anybody who, again, has that magnetism, they will look and they will do this. And they will prostrate to that person. And if you're doing that, you're stuck. If you're doing that, you're going south, right? There is nothing wrong with respecting and honoring and appreciating a person. But when you feel like you have to worship that person, you're a slave. Simple as that. And majority of people on this planet, like I said, could even be over 50% of the population, has that slave gene inside them. And that's the goal, is to basically take that gene and break it down. Get it out of its mutation and making it dormant inside the body. And you do that by working with these practices. You heal your traumas, right? Just bits at a time. And you get out a notebook. Get a notebook out and start writing things down that you are triggered by each and every single day as they arrive. Okay? This person cut me off in traffic. I was yelling at them. I was giving them the finger, right? Okay, I got to write that down because that's a conflict. So you guys need to know what is the difference between a conflict and what is the difference between peace. Okay? If I'm having a person who's yelling at me and I've been able to take care of all of those situations where I felt like I needed to react to them, I'm listening to them, I'm responding to them, but I'm not reacting to them. I'm not cursing them out. I'm not being defensive in regards to what they're saying. I'm just listening to them, right? And you're actually staying very, very calm. It's certainly challenging at first, but as you start to continue to do this work all the time, you're going to get there. Okay? I have certainly developed a lot more of myself where old situations I'll be blowing up, and I'm not blowing up by those situations anymore because you're working on yourself all the time. This is exactly what Adronis is talking about. The more that you are working together with the flow of the earth, where you're working with her heart, where you're working with her, you are going to see much more of an expansive earth. You are going to see things and experience things you never thought imagined existed because you're working in flow with the earth. You're working with her rhythm, right? And you learn to tune into the galaxy. You learn to tune into the stars. You learn to feel their rhythm, and you're tuning into that. And now, it wouldn't surprise me if you become a true cosmic being by doing that. And that is a road reserved for very few people, because very few people are willing to do that work, right? I'm just starting to tune a lot more into the cosmic nature of things, right? And I still have a long way to go myself. But that, again, is the rhythm that you're moving to. You are radiating peace, therefore peace becomes your harmonic life. Okay? So I hope I've explained that well. I could talk about this for hours, right? But we don't have that much time, so I hope that made sense to the person who was asking that question, Maria Rice. Okay? Okay, guys. So it's true. You want to be in a state of calm, but you're being in a state of calm by not forcing yourself in a state of calm. Okay? So when I tell a person be in a state of calm when they are anxious, it's not going to work. Okay? I need to take them through a process. So I would say give yourself the opportunity to work with the process that will help you to become calm. Okay? So if I just go up to a person who's frantic and say, come on, man, just be calm. Right? It's not going to work. Okay? So I encourage that person to work along. I will speak with that person's language. And through that language, I will help to negotiate them into something that will help them to move into a state of calmness. Right? That's the difference. There's a science behind this. You have to learn to speak the language of many different people. When a person is angry, this is something that I've discovered as well too. You get a little bit more angry than they are. Right? If they're just shouting at the top of their lungs, you're getting a little bit more higher in anger than they are. You're not actually angry, you're just acting that way. Right? This is exactly what I've done with some people. Is they come at me and they start shouting, and I just get a little bit more angry than they do. And then they kind of shut down a little bit. And then I just start speaking more of their language, and then it's helping to guide them into a path that is true for them. Okay? So that's the idea. There's a whole psychology to it, really. Okay? So it's not just about being calm. It's just the idea of that invite the opportunity for the practices that you can utilize that will help you in becoming calm. All right? Thank you, guys. All right, let's go ahead and move into some healing requests. Okay, so we're just going to do 3 individual healing requests, and then we're going to end with a group healing session. Okay? So this is Suzanne. Okay, so she basically has a request for a group healing. So we're going to do that later, okay, about heartbreak and loss and all that. So we're going to look into that later. Okay, this is basically when I do group healing, guys, it's not just for a certain amount of emotions. It's for everything, right? So again, it's all about whatever issue you have come up. You'll have the ability to transmute it through the group healing that we'll do here very shortly, okay? So this one here is from Honey. Honey says, healing for thyroid-related heart palpitations. Heartbeat goes up to 135 when resting. I'm doing more tests next week. Okay, so if we're noticing that there's a lot of thyroid and heart-related palpitations, this has to do with viruses. Okay, this has to do with pathogens. So guys, one of the best things that you can do, because I will work with you here in a moment, honey, one of the best things that you can do is pranayama breath control. Okay, that's what's going to help to heal your heart. That's what's going to help to heal your thyroid. That's what's going to help to heal your lungs. That's what's going to help to heal your stomach. That's what's going to help to heal your kidneys. That's what's going to help to heal your intestines, your gastrointestinal situations. Pranayama breath control. Okay, I have a video on my YouTube channel about 3 specific pranayamas that are extremely beneficial. It's not saying that you're going to be better in days. Okay, it takes a few months. But the more that you're dedicating yourself to this practice, where you're working with these strong exhaling breaths, and you're purging out 70% of toxins within your body, you are going to notice a big difference, let's say the next 3 to 6 months, as you do this every single day. Okay? It is something that has stood the test of time. Now, AETHERX can certainly help you as well too with that, whether you have the source flashlight, whether you have the Taurus bed kit, whether you have the cards, whether you have a selenite plate or anything of that nature. It helps you with that as well too. But AETHERX is not a replacement for your healing. It's an addition. Okay? And that's a very important thing. Even if you guys start going into scalar technology and stuff like that, don't just rely on that. It's a good addition to your healing journey, but it's not a replacement. And I will say that for scalar technology too. Okay? You cannot use an all-in-one external object to think that that is going to heal all of your problems and that's all you need. No, you would be wrong. Right? You still got to eat well, you still got to exercise, you still got to meditate, you still got to contemplate, you still got to look inside yourself, you got to look into the core of yourself, because no fancy little scalar technology is going to take care of that for you. Even AETHERX, as wonderful as it is, it's not going to heal your emotional core situations. Okay? You need to do that yourself. You are the answer to it. Okay? Please remember that. So anyways, honey, we will go ahead and work together with your thyroid and heart palpitations. Okay. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to work with a certain pendulum. Okay. And I'm going to work with the Kundalini healing power on you. Okay. So this is a pendulum that is found, that you can find in biogeometry. Okay. This is what's referred to as an E-cup pendulum. Okay. And it's basically given to advanced students in biogeometry. I have the basic and advanced degrees of biogeometry. So I have something like this. Okay. So I will work with this, and honey, I'll be connecting directly to your vibrational field, working with the pendulum at first, and then connecting with Kundalini healing power. Secondly, to work with the heart palpitations and thyroid issues. Okay. So honey, I'm just going to firstly connect with your vibrational field. Okay, so connection is there. So I'm just going to be focusing on your thyroid, and I'm focusing on your heart right now, and just letting the source center vibration through the tip of the E-cup pendulum fill the thyroid and fill the heart. Okay, now that I've done that, I will be working with the Kundalini healing power. Okay, so when I'm working with the Kundalini healing power, that doesn't mean that your Kundalini is uplifting or anything of that nature. Kundalini is the intelligence behind all energy, right? It is the mother, it is the father, it is spirit, okay? And that is what is coming into you and working with your own pranic energetic systems to heal the problems that you have. Okay, so it's not giving you a Kundalini awakening, it's working with the mother, working with the father, working with spirit to bring that intelligence into your system, honey, to help with your heart and to help with your thyroid. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do that now. Okay, so honey, Kundalini healing power, source center vibration has entered into your thyroid and into your heart and will continue to work with you throughout the entire day. If you have any updates that you want to share with me over time, you're welcome to do so. You just go to newearthteachings.com, go to the contact page, and you can drop me a message there should you want to. All right. Thank you very much for your request. All right, we're going to do 2 more people, then we're going to get into a distance healing, a group distance healing, I should say. Okay. I'm just going down the list to see if I do have another healing request. I'm not too sure if I had another one up here, just from Suzanne about the group healing. Okay, so going down the list here a bit more, 2 more people. So just give me a moment here, guys. I'm just going through the list here. Got quite a few people on today. It's good to see. Okay, well, I'm actually just seeing one person for the request for healing. I haven't found anybody else. I know, again, Suzanne just had the request for a group healing. So I guess we'll do that now. I guess we'll just go ahead and go right into the group healing. So I'm not seeing any other personal requests for healing. Not that I'm seeing here. Unless I'm missing something, but yeah. Okay, so let's go ahead and do the group healing now. Okay, so you guys really don't even have to do anything for this. All you're basically going to do is just receive. Okay, so all I want you guys to do, for those of you who want to receive this group healing, is I want you just to do this. Okay, this is what I call the transmission posture. So think of it as 2 big antennas that are just holding up, and they are receiving prana. Okay, they're receiving the source center vibration, they're receiving the Kundalini healing power. And all I want you to do is I want you just to be aware of anything that is percolating within yourself that you're ready to give up, that you're ready to surrender. And that's where your portion in this comes in, right? Whatever you want to give up, whatever you want to submit, okay, that's what you're doing here. And when you're ready, you just put your hands up, okay? So I'm going to be putting this towards everybody who has their hands up. Your hands aren't up, won't be given to you, okay? So make sure you have your hands up. Once you give yourself a little bit of a scan, finding out things that you're ready to let go of. It can be physical, can be emotional, can be mental, but you got to tell yourself with great sincerity, I'm ready to give this up. I'm ready to submit this to spirit. Okay. Once you have done that, put your hands up. Okay. So let's go ahead and do this now. So this is a group Kundalini healing power. Okay. So I'm just going to firstly connect to everybody right now who is watching this video, who has their hands up in transmission posture, to receive through their entire body and the areas that they are ready to submit, to relinquish, to receive the source center vibration that is being radiated through the tip of this pendulum right now, which will therefore be received through your hands and coming into your body, coming into your energy field to help soften and unify those areas that you are ready and willing now to submit and relinquish. Let it be done. Okay, so just keeping your hands again in transmission posture. We're going to go ahead now and work with the Kundalini healing power in regards to that which you are ready to relinquish and submit to spirit. Okay, here we go. So this is to all who are watching this video right now with their hands that are up in transmission posture, who are now ready to completely relinquish and to completely submit any woes, any conflicts, any physical problems, any emotional problems, any mental problems, any spiritual problems that they are facing. And the Kundalini healing power is specifically entering those, because the Kundalini is within you, the healing power is within you, and this work is within you. Let us begin now. Okay, everybody, thank you so much for participating with the group healing, and thank you very much for being in tune with today's last episode of New Earth TV Live. Like I said, I will be coming back next week with a brand new theme of this channel, brand new website as well too, where everything representing newearthteachings.com will forward to that new website, which is Wisdom Transmissions. Okay, and again, we'll have a whole new look next week, and like I said, I'll be incorporating Zoom into next week's webcast, so you guys will be able to join there and ask me questions through video and or audio. All right. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for participating, and I'll see you next week. Again, remember this Sunday, I'm doing an AETHERX live stream. All right, so let me just go ahead and pull up that other video screen here. So again, I'm doing a live stream this Sunday, 10 a.m. Pacific time, youtube.com/@AETHERX store. Remember your promo code, JAN22. All right. Thank you very much, everybody. Much love and blessings to you all. Take care. Namaskar, and bye for now.